possibilities and you're caught in the middle. You always think of everyone. You've got the least to prove how wrong you are. How wrong you are. You always think of everyone. You've got the least to lose. How wrong you are. Look in the mirror. Wake up, oh, the light bulb's blown and it's dark around your bed. There's a puzzle in your head and the pieces are missing. Wake up, another voice has spoken. It's the one you've kept at bay, saying there's something in your way, but there's a light you can draw from this thing. You always think of everyone. You've got the least to prove how wrong you are. How wrong you are. You always think of everyone. You've got the least to lose. How wrong you are. Look in the mirror. And you don't look back on the things you used to say. And you don't keep track of all the pathways in your mind. Well, you can't take stock of what you're doing every day, but you can't keep pushing on blind, pushing on blind. Wake up, it's a new year morning, a new year dawning on you. All those possibilities, can they ever deliver? You always think of everyone. You've got the least to prove how wrong you are. How wrong you are. You always think of everyone. You've got the least to lose. How wrong you are. Look in the mirror.
You're listening to Big Blend Radio, Champagne Sunday Show with Nancy and Lisa, and you just heard New Year Morning by Sandtimer, a UK-based indie folk rock group, and it features Robert Sword and Simon Thomas. Keep up with them on SoundCloud, Bandcamp. They're on Twitter. They're under Facebook. Website is sandtimer-weebly.com. And look under Sandtimer Music, and you can also find them as Sandtimer-band, like I was saying on Twitter. So welcome, Rob. How are you?
Hey Lisa, hey Nancy. Very well,
Hey.
thanks. Yeah,
Oh,
we're enjoying this lovely spring evening here in the UK. Yeah.
Well, happy spring to you. We're having a sunny Tucson hot spring over here. Welcome, Simon. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, we're really glad to be here.
We're
may
glad
have been
you're
waiting
here.
an hour early because of the clock changes, which we didn't know about, but it was worth the wait for sure.
Well, you made it. We're really glad.
Yeah.
We love your music. There's such a sensibility to it, and it's touching, heartfelt. It just really connects as soon as you hear it. And I remember when I first found out about you, we connected online and everything, and I didn't even finish listening to the first half of a song, and I was like, you guys got to come on our show. We loved it. It really connects, and I think that we need music like that really just personally connects. It's tender. It just you just connect with the words, the lyrics, everything, just the melody, and I love the harmonies too. The harmonies that you're creating vocally and then also musically with your instruments. Rob, tell us about the formation of your band, because isn't it part of it is the harmony factor of how you guys all connected?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it started, we started off just, me and Simon just playing as a sort of duo, a couple of times. And, we'd sort of, I tried to start a band a couple of times and sort of, it was just really tricky to kind of arrange the rehearsals and things. And I had kind of like an idea of like what sort of music we could create and things. And, as soon as we kind of sat there and started playing the songs on 2 acoustic guitars and working out some harmonies and things, that was kind of like the crystallizing moment for the project, I guess. And since then, we've sort of built on that, and sort of adding in more harmonies and ultimately more instruments as well.
It's layered and it's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
I really, it's like
Thanks
you can
so
listen
much.
to that over and over and over and find something new every time.
I want to drive when I listen to your music. It's like road trip music, and you always think like Led Zeppelin, and then you think Highway to Hell. Which one should we go? Stairway to Heaven or Hell? No, but but when road trip music for us is there's that, especially because we travel to a lot of parks and those kind of natural areas. And it's music that makes you reflect on your life. Mm-hmm. And I think that is something where you connect that fast and makes you really think and not beat yourself up when you realize, like, I should have done this instead. You know what I mean?
To go wrong.
Yeah. But to get the layers, like what Nancy's saying, is so cool to do. But Simon, let's talk about your voice. I mean, dude, how do you go low like that?
How low can you go?
Dude.
Years of training. No, my voice broke when I was 11, so it just went down and down from there.
Wow.
If you interview me in a year, you might not be able to hear me. I'll be off the frequency.
Leonard Cohen style.
Wow. I mean, you take alto to a whole other. I mean, that's not alto, is it? Does that go lower? Like, it's like bass. Yeah, but you're a bass player too. So like.
Do you compete?
Yeah. So
actually, we do tend to try and just put like really low melodies into songs, actually, just to see how sort of low we can get, I guess.
How low can you go?
That's right.
Yeah, like a kind of musical limbo.
But now, Simon, you're playing bass and singing at the same time.
I'm playing guitar and singing. We have a bassist. Rachel, and she kind of entered the band about a year ago, but I've actually never played bass in this band. I played bass in me and Rob tend to sort of split the recording of the bass, but I used to play bass. It was my first guitar-based instrument, and so I kind of learnt the acoustic guitar from that, which is why I ended up playing solos with like bass singers, and it looks a bit stupid, but it kind of works for me.
No, when we had a band in San Diego years and years ago, and it's interesting because it was playing bass, because we were in blues and that kind of thing, and playing bass. I learned it from like this crazy guitarist. Like he's like sometimes when you start playing in different bands, like you realize just how crazy some musicians are, and you go like, I don't know if I can be around this that long, or maybe I can, because it's really like, this is odd.
Funny.
Yeah, but he had like stolen cars in the backyard and stuff that we found out. So that's a different thing. And then like introduced us to our acoustic guitar player to not to be a rapist. So that was great. But it was like a crazy band. But I did learn a lot of like some basic blues runs from him, and it transformed how I wrote songs. And it kind of brought things back to this simplicity in music. Do you find that helps by knowing how to play bass? And then also you, Rob, because playing, piano, you've got to learn the bass too. But Simon, does that help you now as a guitarist and singer?
I mean, I guess it must do, really. It probably means that I play a lot of the guitar parts just on kind of one note, as you would with a bass guitar, and it does allow you to focus just on one line, which is, although we are all about sort of big harmonies and everything, we sometimes end up going overboard on our recordings. So I think more recently we have been trying to strip things back, like you would if you were just kind of, I don't know, just playing one melody line on the guitar. And we try and sort of emphasize that a bit more, and not always just end up with 3 harmonies and 4 guitars and everything, and just having sort of, because I guess there's too much of a good thing.
I think when you're trying to get a message across, that it's kind of like you make a statement and then everything else is backing it up. If you try to make a statement with everything all at one time, you really got to be careful, because it could get real...
You've lost dynamic.
Yeah, cluttered, and the message gets lost. Yeah. And so it's kind of... And you've got that, I think, where you're making a statement, and then you back it up, and then you make the statement again, and you back it up. And that's what makes it easy to remember your melody and lyrics.
It's the rhythm. You do it in your rhythm.
Yeah. And I think you got it down.
I guess it's like if you're making an argument or something, you don't just say everything at once. You
don't play all your hands.
You got to leave the big punch
it
for the
doesn't just
end.
all come out in word form. It kind of, you have to construct it, and I guess that's a very important part of songwriting that we're trying to focus on, or trying to make sure we don't go overboard with.
Because that's what I think it is so beautiful, is that when I say it connects, like, you feel like you're listening to the stories of your life, and if it's that simple part of it, like but at the same time we know it's not simple. You know what I mean? But if you can connect immediately, then you are able to be part of that process as a listener, and that's the thing. It's and I love some of the music. I know that you have it on your bio and everything, that there's this Appalachian sound to it, and there is, and it's interesting because there is kind of this Celtic side, Appalachian, very solid singer-songwriter style, and then a little bit of rock in there. So you managed to bring these together. And I find it interesting, Robert, your background too, from being a classically trained pianist. I mean, that's interesting because now you're playing guitars, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, it was funny actually with piano, because like for a long time I was quite not exactly like stubborn exactly, but I was really wanting to kind of learn to sort of write songs on the piano and things, and so I spent a lot of time, sitting at the piano trying to write kind of songs with words and everything. And I found that for some reason the piano just didn't seem like quite the right vehicle for that. And then it was sort of hearing all these sort of like field recordings of musicians from sort of West Virginia and things, and stuff like that, and a lot of kind of lo-fi recordings from the 90s and things, like Pavement and Beck and things like that, which just sort of, it was all these recordings that sort of people had sort of just done in quite a kind of slapdash way, and that it was quite nice just learning guitar to sort of try and emulate that style.
Do you think that being trained in classical music is maybe where a little bit of a block can occur? I mean, I know that I learned to sight read and play piano, and then when we had our band, everybody else was playing by ear, and I was like, I need music, and to cross over to being able to play by ear was really, really hard, because I was so trained that I had to have music, and I didn't have to memorize because it's right there, and so sometimes I think that's kind of it can be a block. Not that people shouldn't learn to do it, but it just seems that maybe sometimes you play by ear and then go learn to sight read or be classically trained might be better.
Yeah, I feel like playing by ear is definitely a skill that it definitely helps with music a lot. I think it was actually kind of how I tended to learn music, even when I was just playing piano. I found that learning my sight reading was always quite bad, and then so I had to kind of make up for it by getting a really good memory of how the song was meant to sound, and then sort of working it out from there. So I think it does kind of lend itself to that more organic way of making music, of sort of kind of maybe taking an idea, adding to it, developing it in some way. improvisation and things like that. It sort of helps with all of that.
I always thought it, like, for me, I was a singer. I always used it, like, because I would be terrible at words because maybe I had too many cocktails at that time. I don't know, just saying. But there was this time where I had to remember, like, what the biggest lesson was to remember your words was you're telling the story. And as soon as I learned that, then the whole world opened up. Then my soul was out there. Then I was wearing everything. Like, my heart was out. Like, it was, to me, always like this emotional journey, you know, not necessarily personal, but you're connecting with the story. Do you feel that way, Simon, when you sing?
Oh God, sorry, just having some microphone. It's kind of moving around. Yeah, I really try to, because I mean, I guess sometimes when you're performing a lot, it tends to happen on tours. You kind of play a song so many times that you start to just have it in your, like, almost like muscle memory, and you forget actually what you're singing about. So it's quite nice to, like, take a step back before you start playing a song, and you actually think what you're singing about, and that really helps me definitely to just give a much better performance all round, and I enjoy it a lot more.
I was going to say, you said the word tour. That's one of our favorite words. Is touring. We've done a lot of touring ourselves, and it's like, not as a band.
Great.
We don't do that anymore. Now we just get to chat with musicians, and we love that because we know how hard it is. But it's exciting.
Really hard.
No, but I think what's so exciting about now is there was a time where independent music wasn't able to be at the forefront, you know, and now I think the internet does help touring musicians, and you have to tour. You can't. I think you have to do both, you know. But there's more avenues, and yet at the same time, the industry totally sucks in a lot of ways with what's happening on the internet and corporations and all that good stuff. But the touring part is interesting. You talk about, I know that you tour England, you've done Germany recently, Western Canada, and you're coming back to Western Canada, back onto the Northern America front lines here. But tell us about England and touring England in your region. What's it like? What's the music scene like? Are you playing pubs? Are you playing clubs? Festivals? What's happening with that?
We're doing a bit of everything, I guess. We've sort of been performing for about 3 or 4 years now.
Oh yeah. Coming up to that now.
Yeah, every time we kind of think about it, and we realise that we've got to add another one to that number. Yeah, but in England, it tends to be that there's so much music because it's a small island or a small country, and there's so many people that are just inspired by. I mean, there's a lot of music out there. There's a lot of great music that comes from this country as well. So everyone kind of fancies their chances, I guess, which is great. But it means that you're always playing with new people every time. It doesn't really feel that much like a circuit because there's new people every time you play a gig, and at times that can be great. But at times you kind of just feel like you're in this massively overwhelming kind of ocean of musicians all trying to do exactly the same thing as you. And it's, I guess that's part of the fun of it, really. And but we tend to.
Go ahead.
Also, yeah, I was going to say we tend to play mainly in pubs, and kind of they'll normally have like a kind of concert venue at the back of these pubs and bars in London and places like that. But our favourite kind of gigs will be ones where I guess the audience is kind of very close to us, and maybe it doesn't have to be that many people, but we can just actually, when audiences want to hear the stories that we tell about our songs and things like that, they're the kind of best concerts we play, and the best kind of environment for that so far has been Canada or perhaps Germany at times as well. It's not so
Germany
much like
is
that
good about music. They're good about they're really. A lot of our friends tour over there, and actually Johnny Master and the Mama's Boys are out there right now, and it's really interesting the amount of respect for the arts comes out of there, and Europe. I mean, including England. The States definitely we have that, but we're fighting trying to keep the arts funded, even in schools and things like that. It's so important. But I think just going back to your talking about the pubs and those intimate venues, because I think your music's very intimate. It's like I said, it's very personal, and it's that connectivity. I think those are always the coolest thing, because you can see how audience react to your music. You know, there's that energy that happens in a room, and you can pick up on it and see, you know, the different expressions. Do you see when you're performing, you know, are you seeing people react in a different way than maybe the way you wrote it?
Sometimes, I guess. Yeah, it kind of depends on the song actually, and also like the environment as well. So like there are a couple of songs which I guess are written in, you know, they're sort of quite maybe reflective songs, or they're sort of quite existential and everything. And there was a gig recently actually, and it was quite nice. But like we were playing this song, and people were sort of dancing to it and things, and it turned into a bit of a kind of shuffle, and that was actually really nice. Like it was quite nice to, like, you know, a song that was originally written about sort of, you know, anxiety, not sort of in a sort of clinical sense, but just general anxiety about like the world or whatever. You know, it was nice to actually see like something quite joyful coming out of that. You know.
Oh, that's nice.
Once when our band was playing, we played Mustang Sally, and
sound check.
And
song.
people got up and did a conga line to it, and we lost it.
Yeah,
we just thought that was the
our bass player was on the knees.
Seen. It was like, okay.
All right. Yeah, we're just doing a sound check because they let people in early into the venue. They let people in. It was a horse camp.
Yeah.
Out in the middle of the desert in Southern California, and this horse camp, and the band was doing a sound check in the the hall, and all of a sudden they're like, everyone's getting dinner, and we're like, oh, nice, great, you know. We're not ready. We don't even want to talk to anybody.
That was so funny.
But it was, and that was the beginning of a crazy, crazy night. I want to talk about Rusting Towers. This is, and it's got such a cool bridge in there too. It's like totally unexpected. Tell us a little bit about this song, because to me it feels like you're just letting go in a way. It's just like this. It's like, okay, you could have New Year morning, and then Rusting Towers says, that's it. No, we're just letting go. We're going to forget about it.
Yeah, Rusting Towers. It's yeah. Actually, funnily enough, that's the song I was sort of mentioning just then. Actually, that we were sort of we were playing, and it got this kind of reaction. Yeah. So that song actually was I wrote it like when I graduated from university, and it was just in the sort of holidays. Well, I guess the end of term or whatever, immediately after that, and I was actually sitting on this boat going to this. Or I think going back from this kind of island where I'd like been at the sort of party and things, and just looking out at the sea and seeing these kind of rusting, I don't know if you get them, but they're these kind of forts out to sea. I don't know what they're to do with, like surveillance of ocean patterns or something.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But yeah, that song was kind of very much about like the sort of I guess being kind of a bit worried about the future and not knowing exactly how to kind of take it on, and but yeah, trying to draw some kind of like you know, sort of hope from that, or make it into a kind of more common experience that people can kind of relate to.
Well, let's play it for everybody. Cool. You guys can stay on for this?
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, let's play it, everyone. Rusting Towers, again, the Sandtimer-band, out of Surrey, England. We got to talk about that. We want to know what Surrey is like. Who knows? We might have been there. Again, their music. Where's it best placed? Because I know you're all over social media, on Twitter at sandtimer-band, Facebook Sandtimer Music. But for people to purchase your music, what's the best place?
Oh, so we're on Bandcamp, and that is let me just check. I think it's sandtimer-band.
It's sandtimermusic.bandcamp.com. I got my notes
Sandtimer
here.
Music. Yeah.
Okay, so bandcamp.com is the place, everybody, to check them out. All right, so here it is, Rusting Towers. Enjoy.
Out of this, What can you possibly think? Am I getting out of this? Rusting towers stand out on the way. I don't know if it's just there, but I swear it hurts more than it says. And I feel I'm letting go. I feel I'm letting go of the things I used to know. I was housing every day if I thought that I would getting anywhere. What can you possibly know? Is there anything out there? Wish there was some way that I could know before. Just so easy to stay with the ghosts that are hanging on the shore. I feel I'm letting go. I feel I'm letting go of the things I used to know. I feel I'm letting go. I feel I'm letting go of the things I used to know. I've been throwing stones down the wall all my life. I was waiting for the sound, never hit the side. I've been throwing stones down the wall all my life. I was waiting for the sound, never hit the side. Rusting towers stand out on the way. Rusting towers stand out on the ways, the ways, the ways, the ways. I would face that every day if I thought that I would lead so much. I would watch the last light fade if I thought it would stay long enough. The sea is laughing up at me as I try and keep my eyes shut. The ship's on the horizon line, the boat just started to swirl. I would face it every day if I thought that I would lead so much. I would watch the last light fade if I thought it would stay long enough. The sea is laughing up at me as I try and keep my eyes shut. The ship's on the horizon line, the boat just started to swirl.
Everyone, you're listening to Big Blend Radio, Champagne Sunday Show with Nancy and Lisa, and you just heard Rusting Towers by Sandtimer, a UK-based indie folk rock group. And we've got Robert Sword and Simon Thomas with us, and keep up with the band at sandtimermusic.bandcamp.com. Guys, I tell you what, you want to get rowdy in a bar with that. You do, in a pub in your area. Like there's this part, like I feel like almost like the Proclaimers and the Dropkick Murphys got together and just said, "Oi, matey!"
I like that.
I don't know. There's like a pirate song in there.
Yeah, we get that. Like, I think it's because of that. I would walk 500 miles. It's got like a really similar beat to it. So it's like, yeah, that's come up quite. That comparison's come up quite a lot actually. But yeah, we always tend to like close our shows with that song, and it usually gets like.
People don't normally expect it to do what it does. it's kind of just
exactly.
quite a melancholy song until halfway through, and then and then we just kind of lose it halfway through. And if it's an audience of people that if they're sort of just having a chat or something, everyone always is suddenly looking at us, and it's a great moment just kind of to get everyone's attention.
And I always get really,
really nervous
about
down,
that.
Everybody.
Exactly.
I really want to ask this question. Have either one of you watched the movie The Commitments?
Yeah, I've watched that actually. Yeah. What's the book? Roddy Doyle.
It was
wasn't
about
it?
in Ireland, the Irish band that wanted to play with Wilson Pickett and. Yeah.
I love that.
So there's a scene in that movie where the guy who started the band is in the bathtub taking the bath.
Terry.
And he's pretending he's being interviewed on the radio.
Yeah.
And so he asks himself questions and then he answers it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wondered if either one of you have practiced doing that.
And what would your question?
Yeah.
I want to know your question.
Yeah.
Your question to yourself.
That's actually, yeah. I think like, I think in Germany actually, because we were doing these kind of radio interviews, and I think I was like quite nervous about it because we hadn't really done spoken interviews at that stage, and I can't remember the questions that I asked. I think I just sort of I practiced like talking like ad-libbing or whatever, but without any specific question in mind. So it's yeah. sort of like
I like that. That's
cool.
it. Quote. I practice talking. I love that. I love that. That's the best. I love it. No, you guys are cool. I want to know if your music. Do you want to see it in movies? Because I see it in movies just because it's so visual to me. Like I go places with it. So do you see it being part of like documentaries or movies or even TV shows?
I'd absolutely love it to be in like feature and films and stuff. I think I was watching this film again for like the probably like the sixth time or something I've seen it. But there's a film called Boyhood, directed by Richard Linklater, and the soundtrack to that, I really sort of thought, oh, actually it'd be really nice to like have some music in a film like that, and something kind of visualized. So I guess
it would have to be a film that kind of follows, I guess, just life rather than maybe not something that's like really plot driven, but just more something that just is someone going through a month of their life or even a day of their life. I guess just that's kind of what our music is based upon. We kind of, I guess the whole project started on the concept of time, which is why, hence our name is Sandtimer, and everything kind of, when we think about it, all of our songs eventually relate back to just time and our sort of constant battle with it and our acceptance of it as it passes and everything like that. So I think that kind of movie, I'm not sure who would direct that. Maybe Linklater or I'm trying to think of some other directors.
Quentin Tarantino, because you could get killed.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great to feature in the film and maybe get killed
Can you imagine
at the moment the song starts playing.
Oh my God! You actually would be kind of trippy.
See this big like hourglass in the time. The grains of time are drifting away. You have 5 seconds left. What are you going to do with your life?
Yeah, these are the days of your life. No, but it is very coming of age, and I think that's what's so cool is we're in such a rushed society and competitive, and I think it's so important to remember what we're here to do and who we are. And when music gets to you that way, I think it's just an important message, and it's grounding. That's the word. Your music's grounding. Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff.
Well, that's very
Yeah.
Except for Simon, it might be the rhythm of the ocean. Does that help? Since you studied oceanography, that's what you graduated in, and tell us about that. Are you out at sea or splashing around the rusting towers?
That's actually more, I guess it's more coincidental because I think Rob might have written that. He wrote it quite a long time ago. And
Rusting Towers, yeah.
I think you wrote it when you were at university, did you? Or
just after I left, yeah.
Yeah, and
which was years and years ago.
Yeah, that was
many
call it
ago.
back in his day. And I guess I went to uni a couple of years after Rob, so there might not have actually been much connection, but a lot of our music is related to to water and the ocean and things like that. There's always a reference in it, and actually mainly Rob that will come up with those references, whereas I was the one who did the degree in oceanography. But I think it is just purely coincidental more than anything.
I feel like, Simon, you probably lend some much-needed kind of scientific accuracy to my metaphors about rivers and the sea.
You know what I thought of when I read that about you, that, you know, oceanography is, we interviewed an artist, and she's fantastic. She's a fiber artist, but she does all kinds of other interesting things. But she's done these residencies at sea where they go and they go to the Arctic and Antarctica and all these places, and they are reading what's going on in the ocean. And so her art from it was she was crocheting the actual, like, QR codes, and then she was crocheting these designs from what the computer data was. And so you could see all the lines and everything. And I thought, well, this is interesting, because don't you see kind of like what you see as in oceanography on computers and what you're reading, doesn't it kind of look at when you're producing an album or your music, that it's like here's all these things on a screen that mean nothing to any of us that don't understand it, but you guys do. You know what I mean? Is there a correlation with the computer screen with that?
Probably, yeah. I think like when you're like editing music and stuff, there is this sort of, you know, it's almost like a language in itself. I think, you know, the sort of blocks of music and the sound waves and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, so I once saw one of Simon's like research things that he was doing, and I can't remember what he was doing, but like it was something to do with like measuring the amount of something or other in the image, and he had this. It was grass, seagrass,
but seagrass. Very interesting stuff. Yeah.
Don't be in
measuring
the
the color of it.
Simon will measure it. Sorry.
And if you tease me, I'll measure you as well.
Oh yeah, oh there it is. Yeah,
take it like more in the ocean.
That's a threat right there.
There's a lot of pee in swimming pools.
Well,
you know. That's why they put saltwater pools in, so you can't tell the difference. Just kidding. Uh-oh. It's Champagne Sundays. We've gone off topic. Speaking of that, okay, so what is your champagne toast, guys? Let's start with you, Simon.
What is my champagne toast?
Yes.
Oh, as in...
What are you happy about? What do you want to, like, raise a glass to and say yay?
I want to raise a glass to maybe the start of British summer or spring. It's been a long time coming.
Summer, the world summer.
The world summer, yeah. I mean, I feel like this needs to be more of an international toast, which is quite a big thing to ask, because obviously we're talking across both sides of the pond. But yeah, I guess a northern hemisphere summer is what I'll toast to. And sunshine. Because we've had some really bad weather in the UK right now. I mean, I feel like this is a really boring thing to toast to, but I can't think of anything else, so I'll do it anyway.
Well, you should have been out hiking with us yesterday. You would have enjoyed it. It was sunny, warm. It's beautiful out here, you know, but we've had some crazy weather here in England, too. I mean, in America. And it's like on the east side, it's been crazy snow and everything. And I saw, you know, England. You guys are in Surrey, so you're like in an artist village, right? Like a artist haven in that area.
It's quite close to, there is like a sort of art, what's it called? Yeah, like a kind of art centre quite nearby. I haven't actually been there though, but we're very near to London here, so we travel up there a lot and sort of and just this general area, I guess. There are a lot of musicians like dotted around. It's quite strange actually. Someone was saying they went to the supermarket nearby and they saw one of the people from Take That just doing his weekly shop. So there's like quite a lot of sort of random, musical
sightings.
People dotted around. Yeah.
Random sightings. Random sightings of people.
And then they wrote the song "Staring Kid." Yeah, that's it. We're going to play that. We're going to play that. Rob, what are you toasting to?
Well, I'd like to toast to travel in general, but also to a safe trip for Simon. He's actually going off to India for about 3-4 weeks tomorrow. Wow. So he's flying off tomorrow and doing a bit of a tour there, a non-musical tour, more of a sort of.
We'll see. We'll see about that.
But,
really? What are you doing? What are you doing in India? I've always wanted to go there. I'm curious. Like,
I just kind of wanted to go there, to be honest. It was just a holiday, really. It's somewhere that Rob's been to 3 or 4 years ago, and everyone I've spoken to who's been to India just kind of speaks great things of the food, the culture, the scenery. It seems to just have it all. It's a place you could travel for a year and not see it all. So I feel like 1 month is only a snippet, but I wanna get started.
Awesome.
So,
enjoy. You guys have to come back and report. I want to hear about India. You have to come on our world
we'll do.
world travel parties. You guys, I want to hear all about India. I want to know if you meditated, became a yogi. No, I'm kidding. If you saw a tiger, that would be so cool, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be cool to see a tiger in the wild?
Oh my gosh, that'd be
the most awesome
Thanks.
thing. But I toasted travel too. It is the one thing that bridges gaps in the world. It's the best form of education. And I think your music is good travel music, so I toasted that. And I'm looking forward to speaking with you guys again, Nancy and I both, because we know you're recording new music, right? So you get to come back on the show and tell us about your new album.
Oh, definitely will be. Yeah, of course.
Awesome, guys. Thank you for joining us, and everyone going between. There's that pond between America and England. Just for Simon's sake, don't pee in the pond.
The fish will know. The fish will certainly know.
Yeah. Simon will know.
Yeah.
Simon tells.
They'll measure you.
Everybody.
You'll put it on Facebook.
We're going to play Staring Kid, and then we're going to talk about bar slang in Italy. How about that? Sounds good for us on the show today.
Here's a list of everybody who peed in the ocean on Facebook.
Right. Given to the Russians, and now we have. Okay.
Oh,
so anyway, don't start.
Yeah.
We're going to play Staring Kid.
Russia would love.
Staring Kid, again, everybody from Sandtimer-band, and you can follow them on bandcamp.com. Just type in sandtimermusic.bandcamp.com. They're also on Facebook under Sandtimer Music, Twitter at sandtimer-band, and they're also at sandtimer.weebly.com. Thank you guys for joining us. You take care and safe travel,
Thanks so much
Simon.
for having us on the
Thank
show.
you.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.
Cheers.
Take care.
Cheers.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. See if I care, and I know that you've seen it. I'm from the West End, life gets on my chest, and God alone knows how I feel. Having nothing, a relative group, we're all scared of life in some way. The day is so slow to return from the dark, and all of us know how we need it. Left an hour ago. There's a hell of a lick in its pace. There are too many lads still a shot of the race. There are too many places to go. You kids, you see through me, oh maybe you don't. I understood now at your age. There's no reason for thinking that you are the same. I'll move on the wiser and stare, see if I